Hello and welcome to Stick's World. I'm Stick, Dan. I'm in the beautiful country of Costa Rica, in the most stunning national park called Manuel Antonio National Park. Take a look. Isn't this beautiful? And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can enjoy this magnificent country and all the best bits to see, do, things to eat, show you where it is. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Hello guys and welcome to another adventure from Stick's World. As I said, I'm going to be taking you to Latin America and one of its most visited countries in Costa Rica. In this video, I will show you some of the best places to visit, I will tell you why you should visit them, and I will provide you with a brief itinerary. It's kind of the same one I did when I visited the country. I will give you awesome travel tips, share my experiences while traveling around this beautiful country. I will give some expert knowledge and I will help you to start booking your trip right now. And so the first thing I would like to address is, where is Costa Rica? Costa Rica is situated, as I mentioned, in Latin America. It's that middle section between North America and South America. Costa Rica is a relatively small country, but it packs a massive punch, as you will see during this video, so don't let that put you off visiting. It is one of the safest countries in this region to visit for tourists, and it is a nature lover's dream. Its capital city is San Jose. Its currency is the Costa Rica colon. It's wedged between the Pacific Ocean to the west and the Caribbean Ocean to the east, which I must say is some of the most beautiful I have seen. But in my opinion, Costa Rica is not just about beautiful beaches and great weather, although it has them and that in absolute abundance. It has a lot more to offer. It has history, it has culture, it has nature, and of course, the incredible food. So in my opinion, it has something for everyone. And did you know that 57% of Costa Rica is covered in rainforest, with 25% of that protected by law? And another great advantage of visiting Costa Rica is that most countries are allowed visa-free as long as you're staying for 90 days or less, which is plenty of time to enjoy all that this country has to offer. So, we know where it is, we know it's easy to get in, but what happens when we arrive? Let's take a look. Odds are when you arrive in Costa Rica, you will fly into San Jose International Airport. And this is not to be confused with San Jose in California, USA. San Jose in Costa Rica is one of the main gateways to the country. It's 90% of the people that visit Costa Rica, international tourists, you will land in San Jose. From there, you can make your onward journey to your destination, wherever that be in the country. And a little later on in this video, I will be suggesting some places that I visited that I really, really hope you get to, because you don't want to miss them. Trust me. The next question I get asked a lot once people find out I've been to Costa Rica is, when is the best time to visit? So let me answer that right now. It kind of depends on your circumstances, and I know that's a pretty boring answer, but it does kind of depend on what you want to do, what you want to see, and of course the all-important budget that you have available. For me, I would recommend traveling in shoulder season. That's when I visited. This would be the months of October or November, or March or April. It can get wet in the afternoons with some rain showers, but it's still warm. And I mean, let's face it, I'm from England and it rains all the time, so rain is not really an issue for me. Everything is still open, but it's also a bit cheaper than peak tourist season, so it's kinder to your budget. And then for what do you want to see, what do you want to do while you're there? Well, again, that depends on the time of year you visit. There are obviously national festivals, there are national holidays, and there's even turtle nesting seasons, all happening at different times of the year. So I would highly recommend doing a little bit of research and check before you book anything. If there's something specific you want to do while you're there, check it out before you start booking. So the next question we need to address is where to stay, what to visit. So once you've landed, it's time to head to your destination, and this is where it will be down to personal choice. Many people head straight for the coast, with the Pacific and the Caribbean sides being popular destinations for its sandy beaches, crystal clear waters, and beautiful sunshine. However, I strongly recommend maybe staying a day or two in San Jose, like I did, and take a city tour to learn some of the history of this fascinating nation. From San Jose, it's really easy to move around the country. Buses and coaches are your best bet to get you around, and they are cheap. They're also quite reliable in Costa Rica. And so here is a little list of some of the most popular places, most visited places generally that people visit when they visit Costa Rica. They can include Monteverde, Manuel Antonio, La Fortuna, Chaco, and Corcovado National Park, also along with the capital San Jose, of course. I will explain some of these destinations I've just mentioned in a little more detail coming up in this video very shortly, so stick around for that. But if you want a lot more detail, I do encourage you to check out my Costa Rica series right here on my YouTube channel, Sticks World, where I've done 4 different videos on each of the destinations themselves, and I've even done a tour of one of our hotels called Poco a Poco, which was where we stayed in Monteverde. So if you want a lot more detail, a lot more information, I highly encourage you to check out those videos and have a look for yourself. And so, the first thing I do 100% recommend is that you don't stay in the same place for too long. You don't really need to when you're in Costa Rica. 3 or 4 days is more than enough to experience some of the places that I've mentioned on the list, or some others that you might just want to visit. Public transport, as I've also mentioned, is good, affordable, and it's quite reliable. And so most people do rely on it, right? And you can connect most of the major places, especially the ones I've just mentioned, and the tourist destinations with coaches and buses. So now we move on to maybe the main part of the video, and where everyone is maybe a little bit more interested in seeing. I'm now going to take a look at some of the most visited, most important, the places that people visit the most when you're in Costa Rica. These are also some of my personal recommendations. These are the places that I visited personally that I feel like you're going to get the best out of your trip whilst visiting the country of Costa Rica. And this is kind of what you can expect whilst you're visiting them. So let's move on to this little list. And first up is the capital, San Jose. And so, as I've mentioned, San Jose is more than likely going to be your first glimpse into this stunning country, as you will arrive into Costa Rica into Juan Santa Maria International Airport, which is one of the main gateways in and out of Costa Rica. It is not to be confused with the city of the same name in California. The city is what you would expect from a capital city, although it's not full of high-rise skyscrapers. There are many open parks, plazas and squares to enjoy. The city has lots of history. I would recommend a half-day city tour with a guide. We learned so much about the country, about the city, and it was really worth it. And our guide even let us taste a bit of the food in the main market, which I'll talk about in a second. It was a really worthwhile morning out on the tour. So I will put the QR code up on the screen right now if you want to find out a little bit more information about doing a city tour in San Jose. And some of the other top things to see in the city include the Museo Nacional de Costa Rica, which is the national museum, the Mercado Central, which is the central market, which I've just mentioned. We got to taste some incredible food, which again I will talk about a little bit later on. And we also got to see the beautiful National Theatre and the post office building, which is one of the oldest buildings in the country. It's absolutely stunning, and I can't recommend visiting that. If you don't see anything else, that is one you have to go and see. Also within the city, there's the Colombian Gold Museum and the Jade Museum, again, all really worth visiting. You can see why I would say you need at least 3 or 4 days just in San Jose to really start your Costa Rica trip off with a bang. But moving on to bangs, we're going to move on to one of the most visited national parks now in the country, and Manuel Antonio. This was absolutely one of my favorites. Manuel Antonio National Park is one of the most visited national parks in the country, and it's really easy to see why. It has beautiful hiking trails through the rainforests, some amazing wildlife spotting opportunities, and it has pristine beaches. This place is an absolute must. The small town of Manuel Antonio is the gateway to the national park, and it has many hotels, restaurants, and entertainment all on offer. The real gem though is the park itself. You will need to pay to enter, and you must pre-book your ticket. I can't stress that enough. If you just turn up and you cannot buy tickets on the gate, they will only allow a certain amount of people per day to enter the park, so you may be disappointed. You can check out the QR code on the screen right now for more information about getting access to Manuel Antonio National Park and taking a guided tour as we did. Without our guide, there is absolutely no way we would have spotted all of the wildlife we did. We saw howler monkeys, sloths, lizards. We even saw a toucan with the help of our guide. Really recommended. And then to top it all off, after all that exploring, we spent an afternoon at the beautiful beach. All right, within the park itself, there are toilets, there's showers, there's a little restaurant, cafe, and we ended up staying for 3 nights in Manuel Antonio. We visited the park over 2 days, and we loved every single minute of it, as I'm sure you will too. Costa Rica isn't just about beaches. It has over 200 mountain peaks, with most covered in rainforests, and Monteverde is one of the best places to experience this side of the country. The town is known as the Cloud Forests, and that is because as the moisture rolls in from the Pacific or the Atlantic, it rises up the mountains and creates the clouds. This area of the country, because of its climate, is also home to Costa Rica's biggest export, or one of Costa Rica's biggest exports, coffee. In Monteverde, I highly recommend checking out the many coffee plantations. Experience how they grow them, see for yourselves the process involved in bringing coffee to millions and millions of people from around the world. In the cloud forests themselves, you can enjoy some incredible outdoor activities like hiking, but one of my highlights was one of the longest zip wires in the world. Soar above the rainforest at over 1,000 feet and feel that adrenaline rush like never before. It really was a highlight for me of this entire trip in Costa Rica. I will put the QR code on the screen now if you want to find out a little bit more about the cloud forests, zip wires, and some of the other activities involved in Monteverde. If you want a kind of different side of Costa Rica, Monteverde is the absolute place you need to check out. Next up, I have another famous town in the country of Costa Rica, and it's called La Fortuna. This town showcases some of the other delights that Costa Rica is famous for, like hot springs, volcanoes, waterfalls, and wildlife, and it has them in abundance. La Fortuna is a photographer's dream. Just about anywhere here can create a stunning photo. With the Arnel volcano setting the dramatic backdrop, this town will lure you in and keep you there forever. I would recommend 5 days or so, just so you get to see everything and really get to experience the town of La Fortuna. Volcano hikes are a popular activity within the town, so get those hiking boots on and walk on some active volcanoes. After that, you can visit one of Costa Rica's most spectacular and most visited waterfalls, the La Fortuna waterfall. You can literally stand in its spray like I'm doing right here in this video. After all that activity, why not unwind in one of the many hot springs across the town and really relax? La Fortuna is home to 15 hot springs that you can visit, so you will be spoiled for choice. They all range in prices and experience, so I would recommend doing some homework and finding the right one for you and your budget. Just when you think you're done, why not add a horse ride through the rainforest, which was an unbelievable experience, a hike through the jungle, and an evening jungle safari, just for good measure. Now you see why La Fortuna should be on your itinerary for a trip to Costa Rica. And finally, topping out this list of places you need to visit in Costa Rica if you're planning a trip is Corcovado National Park. This is the largest national park in Costa Rica and one of the most visited. Corcovado has the largest primary forest on the American Pacific coastline and is also one of the few remaining sizable areas of lowland tropical forests in the world. It is considered one of the most biodiverse places on the planet, hence why it's now protected as a national park. Access to the park can only be done with a certified guide and pre-booking, much like Manuel Antonio. So don't just turn up and expect to get in through the gates, you will not. As you will be with the guide, they will point out the abundant wildlife and help you spot some amazing animals. With this park, overnight lodging in the park is allowed at the ranger station, but you must have a verified certified tour guide. Alongside the trekking through the many trails with your guides, you can snorkel, you can have a go at canyoning, you can go kayaking. There are many other adventures you can have in Corcovado. Corcovado, if you have time and the budget, is absolutely worth it. Although I did enjoy Corcovado, but for me, Manuel Antonio was my favorite out of the two. We are now coming to the end of this video, which I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you're already putting your itinerary together. However, just before we do end, I do want to touch on one more element of your Costa Rica adventure, and that's the food. This wouldn't be a great travel guide for first timers if I didn't tell you about some of my favorite dishes and some of the food the country has to offer. So, let's dive into it. Costa Rican cuisine in general is one of the most nutritious, healthy, and fresh cuisines in the world. It is mostly centered around two staples of rice and beans. Its main influences come from the Spanish, the indigenous, and the Afro-Caribbean, and most, not all of them, but most of them avoid the heavy spices and heat, which was an absolute delight for me. Fruit is also a mainstay of Costa Rica cuisine, with fruits such as mango, pineapple, and papaya all being incorporated in most daily meals. The country is also a big seafood eater, but meat is also readily available. So, of my favourite meals to try while I visited, and one I would highly recommend for you to try while you were there, is called the casado. It's a typical lunch or dinner with rice, beans, salad, plantains, and then your choice of fish or meat. I think I had one at least every day for 3 weeks. Gallo pinto is the national dish of Costa Rica. That's a mixture of rice and black beans and commonly served with eggs for breakfast. I would also recommend you trying arroz con pollo, which is chicken cooked with rice, and again, there is no question about it, you have to try patacones. They are fried green plantain, which is often used as a kind of snack or a side order, like you would order like a side of fries or something like that. Finally, my recommendations if you have a bit of a sweet tooth is arroz con leche. This is the traditional rice pudding garnished with fruit or raisins, and tres leches cake. Tres leches literally means free milk. That's what it kind of translates to in English from Spanish. And as the sponge cake is made from using evaporated milk, condensed milk, and heavy cream. It is extremely rich, it is extremely indulgent, and if you go into Costa Rica, I absolutely recommend trying that out. So all in all, those are a few of my recommendations of things you can eat, you can try, you can't go wrong. There is literally something for everyone's taste buds when you're in the country. So just to conclude, Costa Rica is a small but adventure-packed destination that welcomes first-time travelers with lush rainforests, pristine beaches, vibrant culture, and unforgettable wildlife. Most visitors arrive in San Jose, an underrated capital city filled with fascinating museums, lively markets, and historic architecture. From there, it's really easy to explore this country's must-see regions, the wildlife-rich trails and beaches of Manuel Antonio National Park, the surf-ready shores of Aco, the misty cloud forest and thrilling zip wires of Monteverde, the volcanic landscapes, waterfalls and hot springs of La Fortuna, and the unparalleled biodiversity of Corcovado National Park. I highly recommend traveling during shoulder season like March, April, or October, November like I did. It offers great weather, fewer crowds, and moving every few days lets you experience more of the country's diverse beauty. Along the way, enjoy Costa Rica's fresh and hearty cuisines, rice, beans, casado, gallo pinto, and don't forget to try those patacones. With its warm culture, natural wonders, and endless activities, Costa Rica is a dream destination for nature lovers, foodies, and adventure seekers alike. All that is left for me to say is I hope you found this video useful, and you can use it to start planning your itinerary for your dream trip to Costa Rica right now. Just a reminder, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss another adventure from Sticks World. Have a fantastic time in Costa Rica. Drop me some comments on this video and let me know how you got on. And until next time.